Azerbaijan's energy strategy is based on strengthening energy security, increasing gas exports and developing renewable energy sources. The country is implementing both the efficient use of traditional energy resources and the parallel transition to green energy. At the same time, modernization of energy infrastructure and the expansion of export opportunities remain key priorities. We will discuss these issues with the Deputy Minister of Energy of Azerbaijan, Elnur Soltanov. Mr. Soltanov, welcome to our studio. First of all, what are the Azerbaijan's key energy strategy priorities at the moment?
Well, that's a very good question, a very difficult question. Although it could be regarded as self-obvious, I don't think it is. And to me, it was its foundation has been laid by national leader, late Heydar Aliyev. And I think the gist of Azerbaijani energy strategy is really to make sure that it serves Azerbaijan's independence, sovereignty, and welfare. So this is really, to me, the main line that determines what that strategy is. But that doesn't tell us how exactly we are realizing that goal. And I think Azerbaijan has been entering this energy world in three waves. The first wave was after we regained our independence. The first wave started with oil. And at that time, and again it was Heydar Aliyev who made this fateful decision to bring in Western oil majors, because we did not have finance, we did not have access to the cutting edge technology, and we needed to learn actually this new world. So we carefully started with oil, and by 2000 we started to branch out to natural gas. And by 2020 we started to move into renewable energy. And to me, the fourth frontier is really energy efficiency. But if you look at 1990s, Azerbaijan started with basically oil per se and natural gas per se, but then, and carefully again, it was exporting to several countries. But Azerbaijan has been expanding the geography of its exports and also trying to capture more from the value chain of oil and gas. It's one thing to export oil as is and natural gas as is. It's another thing to process it and sell the processed product and keep the value to Azerbaijan. And one more thing to me, which is part of our strategy. So you cannot monetize simply by looking at how much money we earn because of oil and gas, and now because of renewable energy, doesn't do justice to our energy strategy. As I said, the biggest gain was the strengthening of our independence and sovereignty and increasing the welfare of the people, and all the connections, all the networks, all the associations we built around these projects, they themselves became a political dividend that we are using in many, many different areas, including probably in the solution of the Karabakh conflict.
Today's so important topic, the green energy. And what major progress is expected this year in green energy projects?
So green energy-wise, we calculated that our grid is capable of integrating 2 gigawatts of green energy. So 2 gigawatt is like 2,000 megawatts. And if you look at the annual constant energy consumption, electricity consumption in Azerbaijan, it's around 3.5 gigawatts. So in that sense, 2 gigawatts is a really big number. So it's already booked by 2027. By 2027, we plan to incorporate these 2 gigawatts of electricity. As you know, we already have the biggest solar project in the region, in Karadağ. We have the biggest wind project already running. And in fact, I will give you certain numbers. In April and May, the green energy production, green electricity production share was around 30%, and sometimes it went up to 40%. So there were days in May and April where Azerbaijan produced 40% of all of its electricity from green sources, from hydro, from wind, and from solar. We are very happy that we are doing great things in Karabakh and East Zangezur regions. already 300 megawatts of hydropower plants are in operation. This number will go up to, we believe, 600 megawatts. And also we are looking forward to the realization of Kızılkavası and Hudayferin hydropower plants. Also in Karabakh, as you know, in Cebrail, BP is building a very big solar power plant, and that solar power plant will be decarbonizing Sangaçal oil terminal. And one thing is that in Sangaçal, to produce electricity, they are using very inefficient generators, and they are burning gas. So Karabakh's green energy will come and supply Sangaçal, and Sangaçal terminal will stop using those generators, which means that the country of Azerbaijan will be saving natural gas, which could be used domestically or exported. There are many other projects also going on in Karabakh. We are building 100 megawatt other solar energy plant by Azerbaijani to Azerbaijani corporations. And also one last thing I want to indicate is in Karabakh we are also putting rooftop solar panels on almost every house that is capable of supporting this kind of a project. And the total, if you look at the megawatts, the total installed capacity, it's already close to 10 megawatts. So
you talked about Azerbaijan plan. What are the Azerbaijan's plan to increase energy export to Europe?
So we are, as you know, almost 90% of Azerbaijani oil goes to European countries. We are exporting about 25 BCM of natural gas. About half of it goes to Georgia, Turkey, and the another half goes to European countries. But I would really count Turkey as a European country. Why? Because if Turkey did not buy gas from us, they would be competing with other European countries for the same additional gas resources. So anything you provide to Turkey is also could be counted as part of the European consumption. So in that sense, we are, if you add Turkey, we are already providing more than 20 BCM of natural gas to European countries. So most of our oil and most of our gas goes to Europe. Historically, there were times when we exported electricity to some European countries like Bulgaria. But currently, as you know, we are working on green energy corridors. We build oil corridors, we build natural gas corridors. Again, a third logical next step is building green energy corridors. So we are working on Caspian Black Sea, Europe Green Energy Corridor, and also two corridors through Turkey, one going through Nakhchivan region of Azerbaijan. And we always say that because of the invasion of Azerbaijani lands, as you know, Armenia was left out of earlier energy projects of Azerbaijan. But because of the peace between Azerbaijan and Armenia, because of the end of the occupation, green energy not only will connect Azerbaijan to European countries, but also will Armenia a chance to become a party to our third energy revolution, third energy ways, and therefore benefit from the peace dividend, if you like.
And what new projects are being developed with Central Asia countries in the energy sector?
To be honest with you, I mean, the distance between us and Central Asian countries is not that big. But the fact that we have Caspian Sea between us makes things not very easy. So we are, as you know, we have been thinking about oil and gas transiting Azerbaijan from Central Asia through Azerbaijan to other countries. And we have been, in fact, transiting Turkmenistani and Kazakhstani oil through Azerbaijan. We hope that their scale will go up. We hope that the same will happen with natural gas pipelines and oil pipelines. But currently we are working on an electricity cable line between Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and involving Uzbekistan as well. And the feasibility study is about to start. It will be financed by Asian Development Bank and Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank. So the chances are the cable line will be the first Trans-Caspian project, even earlier than Trans-Caspian pipeline, gas pipeline or oil pipeline.
And what steps are being taken to boost Azerbaijan electricity export capacity?
Well, the corridors I mentioned before, this Caspian Black Sea Europe Energy Corridor is basically about exporting Azerbaijani green and clean electricity, because it cannot be totally green because you have to balance it, otherwise it will be difficult to compete in European markets. But Azerbaijan has been exporting electricity to Georgia, to Turkey, and as I said, in certain years earlier, we ended up exporting to countries like Bulgaria, not very significant amounts, but I think it showed the capabilities that we have and the possibilities we have. So those corridors we are talking about are important because the renewable energy capacity in Azerbaijan is too big for Azerbaijan alone to absorb it. So we need these additional export routes to be able to develop them at scale.
Well, what are the biggest challenges in the meeting countries' renewable energy targets?
Well, the biggest challenge really is cost, right? They are expensive. And second is the technical difficulties of managing renewable energy. Renewable energy is intermittent. It is changing, right? There is sun, there is no sun, there is wind, there is no wind. But electricity supply has to be steady, right? So this balance, the grid system, electricity grid system does not like this balance. So managing the system becomes very difficult, as we saw several months ago in Spain, which has very, very developed grid system. They had a blackout, and probably the main reason they had a blackout was because of the renewable energy they have. So cost and management. And in terms of cost, what happens in Azerbaijan, Azerbaijan doesn't want to pass the cost to end consumers. We want to find creative ways of making sure that we green up our grid, but also not increase the cost of production. In certain European countries, as you know, the issue is no longer green energy. The issue is the cost of green energy, because as they green up, the cost of energy increases. So therefore, the difficult task is not to increase the share of renewable energy, but to make it such that you don't increase the cost of electricity. So this is the basic task and to make constraining factor. The second is really grid modernization and know-how, because managing renewable energy is much more difficult than traditional sources of energy, but I think we are doing great on both fronts.
Mr. Soltanov, so important role in energy sector, Bakı Enerji Week, Bakı Enerji Forum. What was the most important agreement or outcome of the Bakı Enerji Week? At the same time, last day, Turkey's minister said we will create electricity version of TANAP. This process, I want to start it or not?
So again, as in every Energy Week, we are celebrating our successes so far, and we are working on new projects for the future. Many deals has been signed, but to me, this is not the end point. It's a process, it's a year-long process, it's a process that continues forever, and for us, this is just one milestone there to, again, to celebrate what happened before and what to look at in the future. When we talk about this green version of TANAP, what we mean is basically, again, what happened with BTC. It started with BTC, right? Again, without late Haydar Aliyev, without national leader Haydar Aliyev, BTC was not possible, right? I say this all the time. I want to repeat, BTC was possible only because of him, right? But then the greatest success of BTC was that it enabled us to build now Southern Gas Corridor, because it opened a trail, a path, following which now we could build gas pipeline. But on the back of the gas pipeline, now we are building our green pipeline, right? So without BPC opening the way, green Southern Gas Corridor wouldn't have been possible, and without these two lines, two pipelines, our green pipeline wouldn't have been possible. And when we say about the green version of TANAP, we exactly mean these 4 lines that goes through Azerbaijan, Black Sea, Romania and Hungary, Azerbaijan, Turkey, and then Bulgaria, and also Azerbaijan, Armenia, Nakhchivan region of Azerbaijan, Turkey, and European Union. So So again, these are exactly the same corridors and pipelines or green TANAPs that we have been mentioning.
Mr. Soltanov, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.